Much has been said ever since we finally learned what the Nintendo Switch actually is, and now we have some more for you, as the Nintendo president Tatsumi Kimishima spoke in a rather lengthy interview with Bloomberg. Now there will be a link in the description below this video to the full interview. I'm going to go through a few small snippets of some of the more interesting sections, but again, the full thing is rather lengthy, so I suggest you check in the description and there will be a link there for you. So, one of the things that they discussed was, of course, the flexibility of form. Now, naturally, given that it's the Switch, it's all about that flexibility of, you can either have it as a handheld on a stand with two controllers, or you can literally hold it like a tablet, or you can use it as a console, home console attached to the TV. And Bloomberg asked Tatsumi if users will be able to flexibly change its form. And he said, quote, "We have shown you various scenarios. It will allow everyone to come together to play a game or let you play by yourself at home. And, depending on the software, it will also allow you to do things beyond that. As the previous president said, when it comes to gaming, it's not just about being holed up inside the house, but doing it outside in different ways. That doesn't just mean under a blue sky with other people, and for example, as we showed in the video, in different places, inside the plane, inside the car, and at all places where people get together." Now, another question that has often been raised about the Switch is whether or not we will be seeing third-party add-on controllers. And of course the possibility of other officially licensed Nintendo controllers that are used for specific games. For example, there was like a Reddit document that had like a Yu-Gi-Oh controller and a few other controllers for particular games rather. And since there's so many possibilities for this hardware, a lot of people have been asking, are they going to be working with other companies for third-party hardware? And it doesn't seem that's on their mind at the moment. And he said, quote, "If you ask me if it's possible in terms of if we're getting ready, the best takeaway for me now is that no, this is not happening at the moment. But in terms of the various ways you can play, you will have to see it together with the software and accessories that we'll have, which we will reveal in January. In terms of attachments to the core part, that is the Switch, it may be appropriate to call them accessories, or it might be better to call them add-on hardware. It's probably better to call them accessories. You can assume there will be a wider array." Now, of course, we don't know the specs of the machine. All that we do know about it is that it has a custom Tegra, which means literally nothing. So, while there were speculations before the console was launched that it's going to be it's going to be powerful, but it's not going to be like an Xbox Scorpio. It's going to be more like PS4 Xbox One level. A lot of people have been still wondering about virtual reality, despite the fact that, of course, this machine is presumably going to be fairly low to medium spec. And he was asked about the chances of the Switch having VR capabilities and if they're going to be developing their own VR that will then connect to the Switch. And he said, quote, if you asked as if this might be possible in the future, certainly we can't say no. In terms of how it can be used for gaming, it's something we must consider. It depends on the system specifications. I can't say that we have no interest in VR because VR offers new ways of playing, but that depends on what kind of software can be played. What kind of software works is only something you only know once you actually experience it, and our games are ones that are usually played for a long time. Now, the last thing that I want to touch on from this interview, and again it will be linked in the description below, is that they briefly touched on the fact that the shares for Nintendo fell after the Switch was revealed, and it seemed that this actually took the president by surprise. As he says, quote, "To tell you the truth, I was surprised. I had wondered about the reaction, but I don't understand why, and there's no real point in me talking about the stock price." So a fairly brief statement there, but it does seem it was at least slightly unexpected for Nintendo. But of course, the complexities of the stock market is something that I am not going to get into. I am not nearly educated enough to speak with any real authority. It could be that people bought up lots of stock and then it fell, or people didn't like the reveal, or it could mean nothing at all. We just don't know. So, there you have it, just a small few snippets from this particular interview with Bloomberg. Again, do check out the description below this video if you want to give it the whole thing a read. I would recommend it. It's quite interesting. They talk about numerous things. And I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.